Hey guys, today we're looking to Grant Thomas and Amy William from JoinSAM. JoinSAM, what's it about?
Well, JoinSAM is a brand new initiative we're launching next month in December, which is all around launching the world's first ever digital money box, designed specifically to help kids save, earn and learn in the same place.
Right, so how it's supposed to work? Children go on your website, they register, and then what happens next?
Yeah, it's children and their families, so it's all about encouraging people to save it in the same place, to actually make money a far more natural and engaging social experience, but actually giving people the opportunity to grow a money box for themselves by money that they live, but also the money they really want help and put in there at the same time through tasks that they do. Again, all encouraging learning behaviour. The learning aspect, which is we're going to be driving lots of content, activities, tasks that we create ourselves as well as third parties. It's all about increasing people's ability to do money in great ways.
Is it only for children or parents also can take part?
Well, I mean, primarily it's being set up for kids, but in fact, their parents will be part of it as well. So there will be helping children, there will be undertaking cashback things, and maybe the parents will learn a bit as well at the same time. But I mean, as we develop, the whole idea is that although we're sponsoring the children, anyone can join. It's not really just for children.
Yeah, it's actually just putting money at the centre of things and learning, rapid learning around everything that people do when it comes down to money, and saying it should be simple, easy for the children and their families to start saving money towards the things that they want to do. But equally, we want to help them to earn money themselves and also make sure that learning is a big part of everything that we do. So, and it's not just learning around interest rate, learning banking, all the things that get taught in schools. It's actually things that add a lot of value to children, about their app store credits, mobile credits, anything that money gets related to. We'll try and teach them and empower them to make the right sorts of decisions as they grow up.
If you can state mission, JoinSAM mission in one sentence, what would it be?
I would say it's giving kids a better deal for their money. That's what we're trying to do. Kids, I mean, this started when, I mean, Ian and I have both got sort of younger children, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. And it started because we just discovered that kids get such a bad deal from banks and other financial institutions nowadays. Banks, building societies, nobody's particularly interested in children, aren't interested in their savings. And so for us it was very simple. Our children don't seem to be wanted by banks. We know that savings is something that really all children should be encouraged to save money. And clearly all children should be encouraged and given the opportunity to learn about money as much as they can. Banks aren't doing it, schools aren't doing it. So we said, well, what can we do? And that's how JoinSAM started.
What's your background? I mean, since you co-founders, you both co-founders, right? What did you do before you started the big company?
So, for me personally, I had a digital agency in the past working with financial institutions both here and in the States, like Fidelity Labs, Egg, where we were working on propositions of how to engage with the audiences in proper ways. And I suppose a lot of the background and the experience that we had then has driven a lot of the, well, let's change things for the better, because as Graham said, a lot of the conversations in the past were, we don't want to do this because kids, we can't make money out of kids, or why should we teach kids this because actually it goes against our banking model of the future. And a lot of that experience drove us to actually say, can we do something entirely different to drive those sorts of things? So experience is pretty much digital, iPhone, applications, all of those different things, predominantly within the financial services sector. We're now doing something entirely different for ourselves.
And so Ian and I came together before JoinSAM to continue to create innovation in the digital sector, and as Ian said, financial institutions being a big part of that. Before that, I mean, my career very much was in advertising, and I was vice chairman of Saatchi & many years, I think for 20 years. So I sort of come from the brand and marketing perspective. I'm creating a lot of new products.
You combine your forces.
So we sort of combined our strengths and indeed our weaknesses as well.
And I think that's
hopefully 1 plus 1.
Yeah, and that's what we're hoping. So what we'll find out is when we launch the product, well, hopefully that's working really well. So as I say, brand marketing, really engaging with communities, looking after the brand in a great way. I'm focusing more on that product side, how we create a product that's compelling, that really makes the most of everything, and also that the commercial model behind the scenes that makes it replicate, so that they get some true, real value out of it in terms of the growth of the base.
What's the commercial model? I mean, what's the business model?
So the business model is, again, it's simple. JoinSAM is about simplicity. It's taking complex things and making it entirely simple. We've done exactly the same when it comes to our commercial model. Our model is ultimately based on where our users make money, we make money. And we do that in an open and honest way. So one of the key parts around that is transaction revenue. So what we're trying to do is say, parents, mums, dads, brothers, sisters that are transacting online should be doing it in a particular way that saves them money and brings money back into the child's money box. Now, if they perform those sorts of things, it not only grows the money box, but it also helps us generate revenues that will drive our business and enable us to grow at scale. We've also got a number of key brands, local brands that are very interested in working with us in terms of supporting some of the content around learning, such as mobile providers around. We know money, mobile, kids all come hand in hand, so how can mobile providers work with JoinSAM to create great content that will teach people how to budget more effectively around those things and also save money over time.
So as far as I understand, you target British audience.
That's our pilot. So our pilot, which is between December and February next year, we wanted to hit the ground running and focus on a market and get all the team focused on one single market. We have got an international rollout plan, so assuming things go well, we want to go into the wider Europe initially, and then look to go stateside and more international into the Asian markets and the like. So we absolutely believe that everything that we do appeals not just to the UK, but to children, families, parents all over the globe. We might need to change the messaging and the approaches, but fundamentally it's the same. Like money comes into, when money's considered, everyone needs the parent can save better, how we can grow the box in a great way, how we can wrap around age relevant, specific learning to what we're doing.
Are there anything likewise? I mean, there's similar products on the market? Or
not really. No, not at all. I mean, if you take the 3 components, save, and learn, then there are brands who do save, there are some brands which do earn, and there are a few brands which are talking about financial education. But there isn't one single brand which is doing all 3 in one place.
And I think as soon as you separate them out as save and earn, it becomes a disconnected experience. There's no reason to do things. So, if I'm on a cashback side, I'm in cashback, but why? What is it to buy more stuff? Is it to do things? It should be a changing transaction to grow a money box and grow a savings pot. And let's teach you what we can do with that savings pot in order to continue to grow it. And we know that people will want to spend money. It's like a normal money box. Kids, families will still want to shake the money box and get the money out and go and spend. But what we're doing is helping to teach them and empower them with the skills and experiences. If you are going to spend it like this. Buy the same thing, but get it in a more cost-effective way that will help save and help you go a bit further.
Do you have any plans to partner up with some universities, some educational bodies?
Yeah, once we get off the ground, certainly in terms of the learn aspect, although it is going to be a wholly digital experience, we do want to start to have outreach programs with schools and with other educational facilities, and indeed in the UK as well on a global basis. I mean, there are charitable NGO organisations which are looking at the whole area how do we encourage children to save, how do we make sure that children everywhere have some sort of savings, and how do children everywhere learn about money. I mean, the issue about financial literacy is not a UK issue, it's a global issue. You go to any country and you'll find that everybody's saying the same thing. Children don't understand money, which means when they grow up, adults don't understand money, and when adults don't understand money, they get into debt, and that's the problem which many countries face nowadays. So there is a huge opportunity to do many different things in terms of helping children to help them to improve their ability to save money and to learn.
What would be the first lesson from your perspective for children to explain how money works?
Well, it depends upon age, and this is one of the things which isn't being done at the moment, is that you tend to find that the way that this learning is being presented is done in a non-age specific way. One of the things that, and this applies to everything we do with JoinSAM, is that the experience, the content, what you see, how you interact with it, is going to be customised, personalised to the age of the child. So it's going to be appropriate. Now that's a rather long introduction to what are the things that are most important. So maybe when you're a teenager, the most important thing is, when can I get a debit card? When can I get a credit card? Or how can I buy a motorbike or a scooter or a car? Those sorts of things. So, as Ian said earlier, one of the things that we want to do is when we're giving lessons, is to put it within a context, put it within the real experience of the child, not to give learning which is abstract. We want to really bring it down to
applicable.
Absolutely applicable. So it's an interest, it's a relevance, and indeed it's something which a teenager or a child can use later on, today, tomorrow, or whatever it is. But then, with tweens, so tweens, let's say between the age of 7, 8, 12, there's a lot of stuff which is going on nowadays with virtual currencies, social science. So, what does that mean? What's a virtual currency? How do you get a virtual currency? How do you convert a virtual currency? So all of those sorts of things, as well as pocket money. We were just looking at pocket money today. So in fact, both for parents and for kids, young kids, they want to know about what age should I give my child pocket money. Or a child is saying, what age should mum and dad be giving me pocket money? How much pocket money should I be getting, and so on and so forth. So there are all these things which you look at it on an age by age.
And I think there's a sort of an underlying one in there as well, which is, if we wanted any child of any age to leave us with one lesson, I think it's ultimately that they are of value. Because they can be of value and not, people don't want them because they will be seen as, why do we want kids as consumers? They haven't spent out. They do, and they can't do anything more than they can if you build another bond with children. So I think the people whether they're 8, 12, 16, or a parent is actually saying, actually going to treat you properly and actually value you and show you where you create value in the ecosystem of doing things as well, and how you get more of that value back to you. So you're not wasting money, you're not leaking money away from the family, which could be growing your pot for a better future.
So in a way, understanding money from within.
Yeah, it's making it relevant. So I think one of the big flaws within schools and with how banks, financial institutions, and other learning communities treat people is they use this one lesson for everyone. They don't actually think, what does this child actually want? What will add value to this child's life? Even if it's in the short term, the next week, how can we really help that child do something a bit better than them? And taking it down to that level from the bottom up is far better than you've got a big lesson that's all about how to count to 10. Every child will be able to count to 10. That's fine. Is that really going to help them? What's going to help them is understanding what's in their lunchbox and how we can help them do something a little bit better.
Understanding what you're doing.
Yeah, it's got to be activities. A lot of the activities we're pushing through as well from the platform around the learning aspect. It's not just an activity that a child can do, it's something that the family can do as well to help them grow. Because it's not just about kids. Kids are the people that will probably got the problem. You know, adult, myself, there's lessons that I need to learn that I don't quite understand, where if someone gave me a quick, easy, more compelling and relevant way of learning, then it would have been far easier. Data tells you, the kids go on holiday with a mobile phone and come like a huge database. That happens to adults as well as kids. So how can an adult teach a kid? How can it be better when they're not doing it any better? So it's actually breaking it down to absolute simple terms and saying, how can we, wherever people spend money, adults spend money, how can we make that a better experience for them, where we save some money out of the experience and do something better?
How do you tend to enjoy social media or other media to use?
Yeah, we've already got a Facebook site, on Twitter. Social is going to be a big part, not just in terms of delivering the JoinSAM message, but we want to make the whole money experience social. So we want kids to be talking to each other about money, about experiences, about the things that worry them. We also want children to be able to, as you were saying, to talk to their parents, or talk to their grandparents if they're on Facebook or whatever it is. So that the whole thing becomes much more social. And very importantly, again, it's this whole notion of empowering children and empowering children within the community. So it's not people telling them what to do. It's giving them the tools where they can tell each other, where they can get advice from each other, where they can converse with each other. So social media is going to be a big part of both communication, but also creating a community. And they're just Facebook and Twitter, there's lots of other sites that we'll be using as well.
It's one of those fun things as a startup, just to go from, you've got limited budgets, as you can imagine. So what we're going to do is between the moment we launch in December to February, it's proven a number of things out there in terms of what would be the best way of attacking the audiences that we're wanting to get to and seeing if we can sample a number of these different techniques over the next 8 to 12 weeks to see which works the best before we then look at putting more effort, more resource behind it.
To assess.
Yeah, we need to, I suppose a lot of our background is in agile lean development and saying, don't do something, don't spend money unless you know it's going to work. So what we're doing is sprinkling in different areas a little bit of money to see what works for us. And again, because JoinSAM is something entirely different, there isn't something out there that does what we're doing. So we don't know how the market is going to receive it, whether it will go viral, just people will spread it themselves, or whether we'll actually put a huge amount of effort into getting people to do these things for us. So it's going to be an interesting one, an exciting one. Both of us in our dashboards all set up and saying, what if this happened, what if that happened? But I think the key thing for us is to pushing it out there, make sure that we keep our service and model offering true to our users. So make sure it's a stable service, make sure it's always relevant and engaging. Don't do things just for the sake of doing things. So if we're doing great, let's do more of what's great, let's not do things and just because we think it might be the best thing to do. It's that users understanding and keeping developing the service in that way, and then hopefully over the next 12 weeks people become aware of us and
they'll get used to stuff.
in these situations as well, how crucial for us to get our name out there so people start following businesses in our community.
As a startup, you obviously face a demo of attracting money, attracting investors, kick off the ground. What advice would you give to people trying to get something done? What's the best advice to attract somebody to sort of encourage people to invest?
It's an interesting one. So I'd say the first thing is don't do it over the Olympics.
Right.
So the Olympics was just one of the most awful times for fundraising because everyone was gone. So we kicked off our our approach to fundraising down the angel route, or high net worth individuals, and going after sort of family and friends to see if we can drum up some money, and we were successful in doing that. Now we're in the interesting part now of gearing ourselves up for hopefully success. So in February next year, so what we're going to do now, we want to really push this out there. What do we really need to engage with a larger audience? We want everybody to get JoinSAM and to use JoinSAM. I suppose the key lesson, I suppose, is keep the enthusiasm going, the energy for the process, because we do meet a lot of people and you get lots of good feedback followed by negative feedback, and I think it's for us to stay true to what it is we're trying to do and not be pulled in too many directions. The amount of time people have said, can you put my information, this format, this format, this format, this format, and we've created all of these things. I think we don't keep coming back to something that's far more simple and far more in line with how we approach building JoinSAM. Keep it simple. Information that we provide to investors and how we approach them should give value. As long as we can always demonstrate that should be true.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as you said, if you're looking at it from something going out, the key thing is definitely passion. You've got to have passion. But I think you've also got to have a realistic passion. I mean, before we went out, we looked at JoinSAM every which way and really sort of took it and shook it to really test it. Go out, talk to people, see what they say. Did they think it was a good idea? Would they come back and say, well, the purpose of the times or whatever? So you've got to have passion, you've got to have a great idea, but you've really got to make sure that actually it's an idea which has got wheels, it's an idea which is going to be a discontinuity in the marketplace. And I think, and certainly Ian and I share this as the core of what we do, is this very important thing about simplicity. I mean, I think, as you go around, you see lots of what could potentially be good ideas, but people just make them so complex, and you're just scratching your head saying, well, what is this? I don't quite get it. And I think there is often people think they've got a great idea, and they just think, oh, I've got to keep adding to it because
extra features.
Yeah, then it's going to be even better. Well, actually, no, not necessarily. In fact, very rarely. Yes. Just adding more and more stuff. It's going to make it even better.
It's like it might be a great idea, it might be something good to add, or let's do it once we've proven that the service works, first and foremost. Because it's almost a set of building blocks, and set of meetings with people that would be great, we do this, and we do that, we do this. It could be, it might be. But we need to prove that first of all, people like JoinSAM. People like doing the things that we believe they really want to do within JoinSAM. If they like them, that's great. Then let's try something else. Put something else on there. But it's always got to be on the back of, will it add value to our users?
So approach it as great.
Yeah, and will it add value to our users, and is it commercial? Because again, it's important for our users that we don't build a business model that doesn't generate revenue from this to make a commercial. We don't want to go out of business as well in 18 months' time and really for our users. So it's all about making a model that's very simple, built around exactly what users want, and making sure you've got a commercial model that doesn't rely on you.
So it works on different angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always ask the same question. Being an entrepreneur, what does it mean for you? Since you guys both entrepreneurs, you probably
it means having lots of sleepless nights, basically.
Yeah, but for me it's freedom. Freedom and control. I get the sleepless nights, but it seemed worth it. I think if I worked somewhere I'd have sleepless nights anyway, for different reasons. So for me it's the control, the freedom, and the excitement of working with some people and being able to do what you want to do as opposed to what you want to do.
Since you have launched in December, right, next month, how do you manage to strike the balance between life and work? You manage to do it all.
Well, I think that comes back down to the passion. I mean, if we have children, so we have wives, so yes, we have to have a life. But on the other hand, I think if you've got a real passion for what it is that you're doing, there is no real differentiation between work and other aspects of life. I mean, going back to this whole thing about being entrepreneurial, being innovative, it fills both of us with passion, and that's part of what drives us in life.
So where do you live?
It is. I think the good thing about JoinSAM as well is it's focused on kids and families. So, you come into the studio, feel like we're working, and we've got our kids here designing out the interface, drawing things, because they are who we're trying to appeal to. So it's great being able to drag our kids in here as well and get them really working on something that they can actually see themselves. So they're sharing ideas with school friends, we've got kids making models, so what would you want to do to help earn money, how would a money box look for you, and they're creating models, doing pictures. So they're embedded into everything they're doing, and that gives us a great balance because actually kids can do what they do day, but that adding value to what we're doing as well, and giving us a fresh perspective. Sometimes you do need the kids to say, I don't get it. Because we can think, yeah, it's simple, it's great, it's fun. And the kids go, is it really fun? Well, we thought it was, is it not fun?
Well, supposed to be.
Yeah, it was supposed to be fun, but we're adults, so how would you make it fun? So I think that's part of, again, this start small is actually test it. But don't test it with random people, adults, test teams, test it with kids, the people who really this service to really work well with, and make sure it's right for them.
So try and focus group.
Yeah, and if adults and other people there, I'm not sure, bankers, say, I'm not sure, actually, kids say it's great, so
and
go with that.
When you've got something which is good, then a lot of other interesting people are interested. So tonight after this, I'm going to the House of Lords to go and talk to some lords about it. So you can get some interesting times out of having something which fundamentally is very new, very different, but which people can see is going to fulfil a need.
Speaking about the United Kingdom as a country and the state of entrepreneurship in the country, do you think you still need more entrepreneurs on board? Do you think it's lack of enthusiasm in the country? Or it's all right?
My experience is I believe there's lots and lots of entrepreneurs already in the UK. I think it's more the support, the focus, and as Graham says, in the past we've had lots of people come to us with lots of big ideas, but it's educating people to do the less is more. Really dwindle it down. What's the key thing within there that's unique to you, and how do you make that a big success? So I think there's ample entrepreneurs out there with some brilliant ideas, and I think a lot of them are making really good headway as well in progressing those ideas, raising funds, and packaging in really good ways. But I think there's also a body of people that probably need a little bit of help in that space as well. So I don't think it's lack of ideas, lack of talent, lack of enthusiasm, it's all there as much as anywhere else. It's just like anywhere else as well. I think it's not unique to here, if it's in America and the rest of Europe, that people need a bit of mentoring, help, guidance, not just in building products, and even lots of products in the past and had lots of excitement, but fundraising is new, raising money through BCs for Rangers was a new thing for us to go out and do, and we've learned as we've gone along, I feel like we'll catch up to it now, but some early time mentoring around could have been helpful, hugely helpful, so there's a lot of time there. So I think it's just finding where people are great and say, how can we just help them out in that bit? Because if they're great at products, great at simplifying things, brilliant. That's the hardest bit. The next is you need a good team that can help you get exposure, help you raise the funds.
And you need a good development team.
It's a good development, all the normal.
I mean, in terms of the area we are.
It comes down to people.
Yeah.
You just need good people. If you've not got good people, so if you have the best idea, you create the average people, you get average results.
Speaking of people, who works with you and how many people involved right now in JoinSAM?
So we're a small team, and we again purposefully kept it small. So we've got a development team of 6. So these are our product team that are literally developing engineering from the bottom up. We've got someone that's looking after our relationships with brands and partners, and we name them head making friends. we've got nice titles like that. We've got Graham myself looking at it from a product and marketing perspective, and we've got a couple of guys in the design team. So, you know, we're 10, if my counting's right, 10, 11 people strong.
Lots of finance guy.
Never forget finance guy.
Never forget.
Yeah.
Which is always great for working on our models and making sure that we keep everything on page. So we're a small team, we're all sat in the same place, all here in Camden. And as I say, the great thing is we're seeing the product develop by the hour. And because we're all in that one place, we can just keep making the change, get it better, and better, pushing for that December launch, beginning of December.
Quite soon.
Yeah, we're only a couple of weeks away at the moment.
Right. Since JoinSAM applies recent technology, recent ways of conducting business, right? You guys obviously know a bit ahead general population what's going on with economy and business. In speaking about the next 5 to 10 years, which areas of the economy or which areas of business and other industries might produce some new companies, might produce some new fortunes? When new Rockefellers might be born?
Yeah, I find it interesting because we get a lot of questions asked by financial institutions saying, what's the next big thing? Who's our next competitor? Because there's a number of areas that haven't really been hit yet by the big players. One of them is money. So the likes of your Googles, your Facebooks, your eBay, all the ones who are acquiring customers all the time and predominantly focused in the e-commerce, the social sharing, photos, all of those sorts of things, but know a huge amount about their user base. And they're in great positions to offer great money services. And you see things like Google Wallets coming out and the like. So everyone knows it's out there, and there's lots of barriers for them to enter the market around understanding money and how, especially because it's quite specific to locations and all of those different things. So I think money is an interesting one to know a lot of research players and how they're going to do something in that space. I think things like, insurance, I think it's everything around. I just think anything that people spend their money on, from a kid, family perspective, is a target area for anybody at the moment because it has become a little bit stale, especially when people are now far more used to engaging socially, creating rich and immersive experiences, some great things in third world environments and all of those different things, which might take off, might not. In-game environments and experiences. It's literally taking it to users in a engaging way.
Yeah, and I think the other area is going to be likely, if you look at the cloud, you look at mobile, then it's the way of being able to create new services, which are joining up individuals with professionals, with data, with information, being able to do that in a way which isn't possible at the moment, and therefore really will be generating, I think, completely new service ideas, which would be whether not just entertainment, in terms of just helping you live your life, whether that's medical, whether this is going to be in the whole area of just organising your life, all those things which at the moment are difficult because it's difficult to get the information. It's a whole series of things that you have to do and the system's not set up. So I think this whole sort of life support, not in terms of medical support, but what are the things out there which is going to make my life easier?
It's just really simple. Nothing is complicated.
Yeah.
We make it complicated, and it's actually saying, from the moment you're born to the moment, unfortunately, you die. How do you make that journey? All the different things you want to do for your kids, it might go to the doctor's surgery, it might be dropping the kids up to pain they're dealing with. How can you just make that more efficient and more engaging and more learning experience? So I think learning is going to be a big part. And
very importantly, it is just joining it up. I mean, at the moment, we've got tens, hundreds, thousands of different silos. You have to keep starting from scratch. You have to keep going from here, but then you have to start right down here. Whereas clearly in the future, we do just want to be able to create this sort of seamless experience from cradle to grave. But where everything is just going to be laid out, and where in the end you can just say, well, that's okay, because I do this, this will naturally go on to something else. There will be another opportunity, will be opened up, or I'll be helped to say, well, if you do this, you want to think about doing that, and this is how you do it. is the solution. So it's really trying to create the seamless life.
I will ask a question I always ask it. For those people watching us right now, they might want to start out a great company, but they might have some doubts. What would be your advice?
Don't have doubts. Or at least have your doubts, but do something. I mean, in the end, anything can turn to starting something up. There is only one thing that you have to do. You have to do it. We can sit around the table for ever and a day saying, oh, I think that's a great idea. And this is what happens. People say, oh, I think it's a great idea, but. So there's always, get rid of the but and just say, this is a great idea. Yes, really think it through. Really make sure that, in truth, it is a great idea. But in the end, you have to go and do it.
And I think if you've got the energy and the passion, the excitement for it, it's like you don't always get it right. There's always going to be people say, but, and they come up with a valid point. The magic, I think, is then stepping back and going, okay, good point, but how do we get around that now? How do we re-engineer it slightly to overcome that if it's genuine? But if it's not genuine, you need to also change the people you get feedback from. In terms of, there's people that will always say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's great to see those people there as well.
Great. That's the best advice.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So that was Graham Thompson, Ian Wilby from JoinSAM, especially for In2up.